In this tutorial, I'm going to talk about how you can go from your concept sketches and start to lay out a design that becomes full scale. You'll see in this one that this is a design that I liked a little bit. So the next step was to take it to the graph paper. Each square equals 1 inch. So this whole piece of paper here is the equivalent of what you would be able to cut out in the Glowforge for your piece of wood. Now remember, you get 2 of these, possibly 3. This example is a little bit big, so I'm going to have to scale that back. So what I thought we would do is we would take one of Victor's drawings here, and we would take a look at these 2 pieces. Now, for these 2 pieces are identical in meaning that they're exactly the same. The only difference is that there's a slot that's longer here on this one and a slot that's coming from the top down to about this point in the second one, so that when these 2 pieces go together, they will be equal. And you can see here that he's changed the design a little bit to be able to accommodate for that slot and also here. So what we would need to do is to kind of sketch this out and figure out exactly how big we actually want this to be, because it's hard to tell from here in the sketch. So what I would do is I would take my graph paper here, and I might have to decide how many squares tall and how many squares wide I would like to make that design. And I would look at the sketch here and figure out the overall width. So from this point here to this point here would be the widest points. And from this point at the bottom all the way to the points here at the top would be the height. So if I look at the squares here, I might say that this part overall might be 6 inches, and maybe if that's 6 inches from here to here, then maybe this part here from here to here would be 4 inches. So what I would do is I would start by laying out kind of a rectangle, sorry Victor, I'm drawing on your sketches, of what the overall height and width would be. So if I had to say, I could say maybe 6 inches here, and let's say 10 inches this way. So to transfer that to the graph paper, what we would do is we would pick a point, and if the bottom here is going to be 6 inches, then we know that to find the middle, we would pick an intersection, like maybe right here, and count over 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3 for a total of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that would be our bottom part right here. Then we said, okay, this might be 10 inches. So we would go from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. That proportion looks pretty good to me. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark where this bottom is. However, remember what we said. We said, okay, this would be 6, and maybe this would be 8. So we have to sort of find the intersection of where this and this would cross here in the section. And if I look at the proportions here, it looks like it's kind of the middle. Maybe it's 1 square higher. So if this is 10 and I was looking at half, it would be 5. So let's just call it 6. So I'm going to come up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And maybe I'm going to draw a little line across here. Now, to do 10, if I know that this is 6, here's the middle, and out here would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. If we add all those together, we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is going to be the outermost point of my square. So really what I'm drawing when I redraw this design, I'm going to draw something like this. So now we can start to lay in what we wanted to do, but I'm also feeling like this is actually, it should be maybe a little longer. So I might increase the height by 1 inch like this. So I'm going to draw out that square, and I could even bring this in a little bit more narrow, which I might do. I know my middle is going to be right here. So I'm just going to draw a line down there. I'm going to look at my design here and start to lay out perhaps the outer lines. I might say, okay, I want my candle to be in here. Now our candle, both of our candles are 2 different sizes. This candle here is a diameter of 1.5, so it's 1.5 inches across. This candle is 3 inches across from this outer edge, this very outer edge here where the wax is, to this outer edge is 3 inches. So we have a 3-inch candle and a 1.5-inch candle. Okay, so if I'm going to be putting this candle in, then this candle is 3 inches wide. So if I were to draw a line straight down here, I would have 1.5, so I would have a mark here at the half because this is the half of the square, and another one here. And then if I look at the design, this part comes up a little. So maybe it comes up like this at the halfway mark. Now, I'm not sure what Victor's idea was with this, but, and I can't ask him right now, but I'm going to assume maybe it's for this candle. So, and if it's this big candle, then maybe it comes down a little bit more. And maybe we do get rid of this. I don't know. But I'm going to bring this down to here, and this is going to be the flat for the candle. And if I look at the design, so if I'm looking at this design, I can see this comes down and then kind of comes out like bat wings. And if this part here is the middle, then maybe it would come out like this. And it could go all the way out to the edge, to the corner. So it could go from this corner to this corner. And then the general shape comes in. And maybe this is 2 squares up. So maybe we say, okay, it's going to come in, and it's a little bit narrower here than this one. So maybe it comes in 2 inches. So I'm going to make this go like this. And here's the 1 inch on that side, and then I'm going to connect it to this side here. And then we said that this would be 6 inches, but you know, I'm really looking at the comparison, and if this is 8 inches and this is 6 inches, that means I would probably go from this corner to here, and from where this intersects to here. So now I have a little bit of my shape here, and I think I'm going to bring it down to here. So we have this part comes down below this section that goes across. So maybe this comes right about here, and it has a little angle on it. So I'm going to angle this down and then straight down like this, maybe in that area. And I'm going to do the same here, maybe about halfway and then straight down. So now my shape, my inside shape is going to look something like this. Now we have a design that goes in here. I'm going to draw that in. You can always add this later. When we go to SketchUp, you can add this in. I'm just going to go across like this and down. And maybe that needs to come out like that. It's not perfect, but that's okay. I just know that I want these two lines to connect like this. Now I have another part of the design that comes straight down like this on both sides, and then it does a loop like that, and there's a little opening like that. So I'm going to put that in also. I'm going to draw myself some guidelines to make this close. And then I've got this little circular design here. For that, I'll just do a circle like that. And then I've got, on one of these, I have the slot, and let's just pick an area. We're gonna have the slot maybe intersect right here. Just draw a line for your slot right now, because we can add that in for SketchUp. And you just have to know that this is 2 inches on the other side. So then I'm gonna add my design here. I'm gonna align all of these. So I'm kind of drawing a visual line down this way. And so now you can kind of see that I'm starting to create this design. And I can erase the lines that I don't need. So this line here can get erased. So I can see how big my actual design is. And if I put my hand here, you can kind of get an idea, or even a pencil, of how big this is. So this is what you're going to be doing with the graph paper. I want you to draw out in full size what your design from your sketch is going to look like. After you do this, you're going to take a picture of this design and you're going to upload that into the Google Classroom. Then we will bring it into SketchUp and scale it accordingly.